Word. All right, good afternoon, everyone. It's good to see you all and definitely appreciate the time. Appreciate you all being able to join on your lunch breaks. My name is Kyle, and I serve as Director of Culture and Engagement here at the School District's Office of DEI. And I'm very grateful that you had the opportunity to stop by. I want to welcome you to the Equity in Practice series. We're winding down for this year, but before we begin, we would like to just go over some quick housekeeping rules. We're typically just always ask that attendees remain on mute until the Q&A session. At the end, if anyone has any questions, we are also recording today's session, which is indicated in your top left corner. So just want everyone to be aware of that as well. So this series is a lunch and learn. So please feel free, as many of you already know, to feel free to enjoy your lunch during this time, on camera, off camera. It's all good, no judgment here. I want to also mention, oh no, I'll take a step back. And for those who don't know, the Equity in Practice series is a collection of community learning opportunities hosted by the school district's Office of DEI in collaboration with community-based organizations that are focused either on equity, cultural awareness, and or social justice. So the goal of this series is to just establish a community of learning between the SDP community and community-based organizations that promote collective learning and lead to collective action and equitable change throughout the city of Philadelphia. And as always, we want to start with historically marginalized communities and populations. So I hope everyone has been able to enjoy and learn a lot for AAPI Heritage Month. So in this month for AAPI Heritage Month, we thought it would be fitting to collaborate with an organization that is doing amazing work on behalf of the AAPI community and the city of Philadelphia as a whole. For today's session, we are definitely excited to welcome SEAMAAC. SEAMAAC is committed to serving people regardless of race, national origins, and has a mission and vision in building a stronger society based on the principles of justice and equity for all. So with that being said, we're definitely very appreciative for SEAMAAC to be here, and I will hand it over to them.
Thanks, Kyle. Good afternoon, folks. My name is T. Lamb. I am the Deputy Director at SEAMAAC. I've been with the organization for around 8 years, and prior to working at SEAMAAC, I worked in the Department of Nutrition and also the USDA over in Trenton and Northern Pennsylvania. My focus has always been on psychology, but now at SEAMAAC, we deal more with social justice and neighborhood revitalizations, as well as equity for the constituents that we serve. Our mission is to help marginalized communities. In 2018, we realized that our core constituents that we thought we served was Southeast Asians. And we did a strategic planning meeting. We realized that more than half of our constituents were Black and brown folks. So we had to change our mission statement. And marginalized for us means politically, socially, and economically marginalized. There in which we are serving pretty much anyone and everyone who needs our assistance and can use our services to better their lives. I did provide a very quick presentation for you all today, just to go over the departments that we have, the services that we render, and then I'll open it up to a couple of Q&As if you had any questions about any of the services we provided. Let me share my screen. Is it good, Kyle? All right, great. So this is just, we love photos. This is just one of the community gardens that we steward. This was part of kind of like a long-term project that SEAMAAC has in environmental justice. So today's agenda, I'll briefly touch on the departments at the organization, services, and then close it off with why we do what we do. SEAMAAC's departments consist of the Community Development Department, the Health and Social Service Department, the Education Department, and then the Hunger Relief Department. And mind you, I forgot to delete the Food Distribution Assistant on the bottom. So what does community development entail? Our work includes corridor enhancement program in the South Philadelphia area. The zip codes that we primarily target is the 19145, 48, 47, 42 locations. So deep South Philly and a little bit of Southwest. We also deal with storefront improvement programs. So we manage between 60 to 100 businesses that are owned by BIPOC individuals and also AAPI individuals. The storefront improvement program allows us to apply applications on their behalf, help them achieve any type of L&I clearance that is necessary to open up their store, and also assist them with opening up new businesses. So we're trying to incubate a culture of stewardship and also assistance to those that really want to change their lives and take control of their ability to be gainfully employed. We also offer assistance with applications for additional grants. So the city and also the business department or the commerce department in Philadelphia historically have always issued grants and application process, most of which will either be rendered in English and sometime in Spanish. Here at the organization, we will assist an individual with any type of language. So if you're a Burmese speaker, if you're an Italian speaker, if you're a German speaker, we will be able to assist you in language with some level of tech support, but also in-house, our staff speaks up to 26 different languages that we currently have. And this is across around 50 to 55 employees that we have here. We're also engaged in Safety Task Force. So the Safety Task Force is our partnership with the Asian American Foundation. We're the only individuals tasked with the anti-Asian hate program in the state of Pennsylvania. So if an individual feels that they're being harassed or targeted because of their race, they generally will reach out to us, and we have a network and a coalition of over 25 other state and national partners that will come to their assistance. So if it needs to be leveled up to the governor's level, the senator's level, these are direct contacts that we have, and then we're just trying to assure that no one is harassed within the space that they operate. We also run the Growing Home Gardens program. So our Growing Home Gardens program is part of our environmental justice play. We service 3 garden plots, and in each of the garden plots, we have up to 108 plots. So the plots are only designated for refugees and immigrants. So individuals who are in the local community can co-share with a lot of the garden work that we do, but in order to get a plot, they're specifically have to be refugees and immigrants at the current moment. As we continue to expand, we will consider offering it up to more residential individuals. The reason behind this is that our Growing Home Gardens program, we realized that 99% of the constituents grow the food and the produce purely for a resource. So it's not something that they do as a pastime, it's something that they use to provide food and meals for their family. If folks are interested and you know folks in the area, you can always email us, and the contact information will be on the last slide. We currently have a waiting list of around 30 to 100 individuals at any given time. So as soon as a plot is open up, they're definitely eligible. The only requirement is that we have a registration at the beginning of every single growing season, roughly around March. And there's a $25 fee for the entire year. We cover the rest of the costs, which is the stewardship of the program. 25 just allows them to have a sense of ownership in everything that they do. We also run the civic engagement program. So our civic engagement program, we are at every single polling site in South Philadelphia, whether it's the primary or the general election. And we're also getting the folks to register. Individuals who have seen our program, is generally a red tent throughout Philadelphia. If you see a SEAMAAC logo, generally we're there to provide some level of assistance. It also coincides with our counter disinformation. There's a lot of information that's targeted towards the refugee and immigrant population, as well as English as second language learners that are completely false. So we generate content that specifically targets those individuals. And the hard part is that each minority group receive information very differently. So Chinese constituents generally will have their information delivered through WeChat, WhatsApp, or Facebook. Hispanic individuals will get a lot of the information from the television, and how they receive it is probably in-person town halls and seminars. So these are kind of like counter disinformation tactics that we have to carefully curate throughout the year just to target those information. It is known that within the United States, there are around 50 accounts only that generate 99% of the counts of disinformation. So it is deliberate, it is strategic, and they move way faster than we can debug them for. We also are engaged in park revitalization. Currently, we deal with Mifflin Square Park, which is located on 6th and Wolf. This is in part of our green strategies as well. It is a 10-year process. We're finally about to break ground to redo the entire playground, which is around 15,000 square feet. This is only 1/4 of the park, so we still have to find additional fundings to grow this program. Nationally, they use our metrics in terms of how we engage with community members. There were over 25 different focus groups in order to get feedback from every single constituent within that neighborhood to make sure that the park service what they need as opposed to what we think they need. Lastly, we have a forum for environmental justice. It is our goal to deal with condensed areas, especially in South Philadelphia. They have high pollution, high heat index, and low quality of life. So we have engaged with Drexel University to do a year-long program, and that is purely research-based, and then the implementation process will be in 2024, or the end of 2024, all the way up into 2025. So that's some of the notable programs within our community development department. For our education department, we have the truancy intervention prevention services. As educator, I think most folks know, SEAMAAC used to be responsible for Core 9, which is the Northeast region, and also Core 3, and then Core 9, which is the Southwest region. We offer a lot of assistance to individuals that have high cases of truancy, unexcused absences, and such. So it's a fairly straightforward program, highly regulated, but currently, we're only in Southwest Philadelphia. I believe there's another RFP coming soon that will allow us to take over another section of the city. But what that means is when we are providing services, any individuals or any youth that require in-language services, we will have a caseworker as well, in addition to our truancy case manager to provide additional assistance. And then subsequent to that, in our education department, we also have an out-of-school time program that's currently being held at South Philadelphia High School. So that program is offered to all high school level individuals, and it's through our hip hop heritage program. We teach the pillars of hip hop. It is graffiti, DJing, MCing, and breakdancing, amongst other various art. We also have like studio production, studio engineer. We teach the youth how to create their own tracks, create their own beat, cut it, and also do their own promotional material, upload it into SoundCloud. We just wanted them, if they're really trying to pursue the arts, that they are able to monetize on all aspects of the creative process. So some notable stats. In 2023 alone, the organization served up to 72 different languages. So there's not a single constituent that if we had the capacity to render services for, that we wouldn't be able to serve them. And I think, as mentioned, we service up to 25 different or 26 different languages in-house, just amongst our staff alone. Through our hunger relief program, we've distributed over 1 million pounds of food last year. Our volunteer program is fairly robust as well. So if any folks want to engage with us to learn a little bit more about SEAMAAC, we service up to 5,200 instances of volunteers, and the shifts generally vary between an hour to 5. And the amount of households that we serve every single week, including our food pantry program, including our health and social service education and community development program, we touch about 2,000 households. So our health and social service program is our largest program currently. The program, I think this is more relevant to a lot of folks in the room today, is our digital navigation program. This is geared towards individual who needs help troubleshooting a lot of their computer if they are unable to log on, if this is their first time ever touching a computer, if they have issues downloading Zoom onto their account. So it could be a plethora of reasons why they would need the services. But SEAMAAC is providing it in language by appointments at our V's Wellness Center location. So that's another South Philly location. The address will be displayed momentarily. We also have Digital Literacy Lab, and this is more curated towards individuals who really want to know how to use a computer. They are not coming to us for just a single instance of troubleshooting. They want to know how to type emails, how to create accounts, how to troubleshoot issues on their own, and learn how to work a functional computer. There's also a wait list on that. However, the email to sign up will be provided at the end of this presentation. We have a digital literacy and ESL classes that we provide. Some of them are going to be in person and some of them are also going to be digital. We understand that folks have lives outside of the realm of SEAMAAC. So some of the classes are later into the evening, some of the classes are on weekends. It just depends on the availability. There's currently a wait list of over 100 individuals for that. Again, we will try to expand and provide as many access points as much as possible. The ESL classes is divided into 3 sections. We have beginner, intermediate, and also advanced level. We generally don't turn anyone away whenever there's capacity. We also run a nationalization program. So the nationalization program is for LAP. Those individuals have been in the United States for a designated amount of time, generally around 5 years, and they are applicable or eligible for the naturalization process to get their green card. The naturalization program that we run is very robust. 99.9% of the individuals who go through our program has a success rate of achieving their tests and also going through their citizenship program. So the naturalization program, we will sit down with an individual. It generally takes about 3 hours in the initial meeting. And then there are follow-ups to help them with applications. So the application is very intensive. It requires a lot of information, a lot of documentation. Our individual program assistants will help an individual through the entire process. Some of the applications require money. So the program fees, generally there is a waiver. It ranges anywhere between like $500 to $750. Most of the constituents that we deal with are low-income individuals. We will also help them with the process for the application to waive those fees. Again, my apologies. There's also a wait list for this one. We are slated to generally help on anywhere between 20 to 50 individuals in an entire year. But we kind of eclipse all of that within the first couple of months of the year. So it's a very promising program. It's a highly coveted program. But I would say if you have or know anyone who's eligible and they want to go through the process, the best thing that they can do is at least reach out to us so that they can be on the wait list. And as soon as we have more capacity, we'll definitely reach out to them. So we go on a first come, first serve basis. There's no skipping the line for anyone. We also have health access programs. So in South Philadelphia, there are a lot of low-income individuals. My apologies for the ambulance in the background. So health access programs will deal with individuals who are new to the country or have been in the country for a very long time, but are not aware of what services they can get based on their status, based on their income, based on where they live. So we have a program coordinator that deals with all that. There's a very comprehensive intake process in the beginning, all of which is anonymous. And then we were able to pair you with program services, whether or not you are applicable for Medicaid, Medicare, whether or not you are you need to be signed on to the Federal Affordable Care Act. Those are all kind of like issues that we troubleshoot through the health access program. The other thing we can also do is if an individual qualifies for a better health insurance to deal with their primary care provider, we'll also assist them with making those changes as well. And all of this is going to be in language. Our Safe Families program deals with the same thing. And I have it on repeat because Safe Families program, there's 2 subsets to the Safe Family program. One is dealing more with individual working class individuals, and the other one is dealing more with the elderly population. So with the elderly population, we have an elders gathering, and this one is through our Roots of Happiness program. It's the only one that's more culturally specific. It deals with the Chinese population, Vietnamese population, Laotian population, and also the Burmese population currently. We're hoping to grow the program into a larger series that can address more BIPOC individuals, but currently we're only servicing those 4 ethnic groups. The Elders Gathering is held at the Bach Building, which is in South Philadelphia, located at 800 Mifflin Street. Our immigrant family wellness programs deal with the same thing. There are immigrant families who, out of fear of persecution from the government, sometimes has a distrust towards the certain administrations within the city of Philadelphia. So what we do is we assist them with any type of applications and program. We also do interpretations for them as well on an as-need basis. And then we have generally everything in language. Lastly, for the Health and Social Service program is our domestic violence program. So this domestic violence program only deals with API individuals or Southeast Asian individuals. It is the only domestic violence program that is in language and also culturally specific between Philadelphia all the way down to Georgia. So there's no other culturally specific DV program. If unfortunately you know anyone or any constituents that is currently dealing with DV, they can definitely reach out to SEAMAAC and we will assist them right away. What DV entails is for us to allow for an emergency relocation. We can also pay for rent. We can also deal with helping them go into witness protection, certain things like that. So all of our staff who deals with DV goes through a very intensive training program throughout the year, and it's a federal requirement. So it's something that we take very seriously. And these are kind of like the notable programs in our health and social service. I think they have over 30 different programs. So these are kind of like the larger ones. Hunger relief would be, I think this is our last program. So we run a hunger relief program throughout the pandemic, which is when we started. We noticed that the idea of food scarcity within the Latinx, the Black and Brown, and also the Asian American constituents, there was a fallacy by a lot of food pantries that hunger doesn't really exist in these communities. And we've been fighting that for a very, very long time. So as a result, we created our food pantry lines. Throughout the pandemic, if you've ever seen a line in South Philadelphia for food, it is something that SEAMAAC generated. So it's our partnership with Broad Street Ministry that allowed us to curate pre-cooked meals for over 3,000 individuals on a daily basis. Now that the pandemic has died down, we also understand that folks still need food. So we created a food pantry around 2 years ago. And the food pantry was meant to serve only 150 families per week. We are currently serving 1,500 families a week. So those individuals will come and then they will get food that is appropriate to families' sizes anywhere between 4 to 15 individuals in their family. And it's always going to be appropriate. So as far as food pantry, it's the only culturally specific food pantry in the city of Philadelphia. We have a choice menu, which allows for any individual. Let me go back for 1 second. This is located, our main office is at 1711 South Broad Street. The contact information will be on the last page as well. We are open from Monday through Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Anyone can come to seek the services for the food pantry. The food pantry has a choice menu, which means that an individual never has to read a single thing in English. Everything will be printed and itemized based on infographics. So if we're serving eggs that day, there will be a photo of an egg. The individuals who are in line, we service up to 15 different languages amongst all of our staff on a daily basis, including volunteers. So the individual will circle what they want and then X out what they don't want. This allows us to really minimize the amount of spoilage that we have. We generally have no spoilage as far as food pantry goes. Most food pantries have around a 10 to 15% spoilage rate, or people just throwing it on the ground. This will allow folks to really understand what they want and only receive what they need. In addition to that, they never have to pack their own meals. We never let anyone see the inside of a food pantry because the idea of scarcity would then be developed. So what often happens is that we pack individually every single item and then we take it out to those individuals. The food pantry is much different than any other food pantries in the city of Philadelphia because we get most of the shelf-stable items through Fill Abundance. And then we partner with Share Food to get the fresh greens. And then we have a farm out in Carversville that we partner with that provides all the poultry as well as the egg and the dairy products. So we provide them with a nutritious, culturally specific, culturally appropriate item every single week. And we also change up the menu option compared to every other pantry. South of us, there are no other food pantries that are open. There are only 2 other ones that open on a monthly basis, but we are the last vestige of a food pantry in South Philadelphia at this current moment. On Thursday, we do an elderly delivery program, and then we also have a cap of around 200 households. Our capacity is around 50, but we generally never say no to anyone. So at this point, the team is dealing with a lot. So we're up to like 200 families that we serve. And we also help with immunocompromised individuals as well. So if you know anyone in South Philadelphia that would like to be or need to be added to the list, feel free to send us an email, and then we would try our best to accommodate or add them to our wait list or find a partner organization that could deliver to them as well. We do have a wellness center. So because of FQHC status, we are not able to steward the health center, but it took us 5 years to open up a clinic. We created a separate 501c3 organization to run it. And this is a health center that also houses our health and social service department. So relevant to folks who are on the call today, if you know somebody who needs health access in a culturally specific way, our clinic is at 1901 South 8th Street. It's currently being ran by Sophie, which is South Philadelphia East Health and Wellness. It is open Monday through Friday, and they deal with low income as well. For individuals who have no health access, while they will probably be transported or kind of like deferred to our health and social service team to get them signed on, and then they can receive service. If it's like an emergency service that is required, most of the time the health clinic will also provide the care for a nominal charge. I think up to $25 for their first, second, and third visit, and then hopefully they can go in through the process of getting a case manager through SEAMAAC, and then SEAMAAC will help them through the Affordable Care Act program. So the number for that center is 215-503-7194 on the bottom. Some work of our team in terms of garden, education, vaccination, and such. So summary of our work is that nothing we do is a charity. It is all about social and racial justice. For health and social service related issue, you can email hss@seamaac.org. General issues, you can do info@seamaac.org. And then our main office is at 1711 South Broad Street, which is also where our food pantry resides.
Thank you so much, T. Definitely appreciate that, all the great information and just highlighting all the amazing work you all are doing. It's definitely like amazing work. I just wanted to open it up to the group just to see if anyone has any questions for T. Feel free, you can drop a comment, or I see a comment, such amazing, diverse work. And feel free to just send a question or come off mute, and I'll leave space and time for that.
Can you remind me the hours of the food pantry?
Of course, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, between 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
I have a quick question as well. For the wellness center, I recall you mentioning that if someone doesn't have, if they're not able to pay, it's a small nominal fee, and then they can get connected with the caseworker. If someone is undocumented or they may be experiencing homelessness or anything like that, are those factors that can affect them receiving any support, or is that something that they can work through with the case manager?
So once they come to the site, Sherry, that is, let me phrase it correctly. They will be rendered service at the site regardless of their documentation. So that's one thing that when we created the health center, we were very cognizant of, because a lot of our constituents are also undocumented. So there's a couple of ways that can be seen. I sit on the board of Sophie as well. So we set the price for kind of like the uninsured to be around $25. So that's generally how much they will have to pay. They will not be turned away if there's availability to be seen that day by the physician. If not, I think they're going to be rescheduled. Because of HIPAA, this information also cannot be shared through like the government officials as well. So they will remain anonymous. What the healthcare providers will do is then reach out to SEAMAAC, we're all in the same office. So when I built the center, it's divided into 3 separate sections. One is the community center, the health and social service sector, and then the clinical sector. So all in the same building, just different corridors. So after which they will be notified, or our team at the Health and Social Service will be notified to kind of get them signed on, linked up, so that they can have proper healthcare if necessary. And then I think there's also referral services through Health and Social Service to try to get them homes and accommodation if necessary. And a lot of individuals, in this case, if they're unsheltered, they just want to have proper healthcare. And then I think the housing portion is going to be a little bit later. I also sit on the advisory council for homelessness and unsheltered individuals through OHS. So it's something that we've actively tried to do, but I would say we will only tackle one issue at a time, and the more pressing issue will always take precedent, and in which case it would be being seen by a physician.
Thank you so much for that, T. Really appreciate SEAMAAC coming for this presentation. I think we are all good with questions at this time, but T, let me know. I'm happy to send out your contact information to this group and everyone who registered for this session today. But I definitely want to just spend a special thank you to SEAMAAC and appreciate the time. So we'll conclude now. Thank you everyone for joining. I definitely appreciate it, and feel free to tell a coworker or a community member about SEAMAAC and all the great work they're doing. All right, take care, everyone.